The sun's barely up, painting the Judean desert gold. Down below, the Dead Sea looks like a sheet of glass, and high above it all, Masada. Once a Hasmonean outpost, later Herod's desert palace, Masada wasn't just a fortress, it was a dream of being untouchable. Stone walls rising from the cliffs, storage rooms stuffed with grain, rainwater caught in hidden cisterns, it was luxury wrapped in survival. But when Rome ruled Judea, that dream started to crack. By 66 AD, revolt had torn the province apart. The Jewish rebels were outnumbered, outgunned, but never outwilled. When Jerusalem fell 4 years later, a last band of radicals called the Sicarii ran for the cliffs and took Masada for their own. They dragged their families up that brutal snake path, swore they'd never bow again, and turned Herod's palace into a bunker of faith. Down below, in 72 AD, the Roman 10th Legion arrived, 8,000 strong, armor shining in the desert sun. They weren't here to fight a big war. They were here to make a point. As Rome's engineers drew their plans, the rebels above prepared their souls for siege. What comes next isn't just battle, it's a slow duel between freedom and control, played out on the edge of the world. Rome didn't charge, they calculated. Governor Flavius Silva unrolled blueprints and started turning the desert into geometry. Camps in perfect formation, watchtowers, a wall encircling the entire plateau, so no one got out and no hope got in. Then came the ramp, a monster of dirt and rock creeping up Masada's western face. The sound of hammers and chains echoed for days. Some say it took weeks, others say barely more than 10 days. Either way, it was Rome flexing, showing that even the impossible can be engineered. Up top, rebels watched, silent. Children slept beside grain jars, mothers whispered prayers, men sharpened their spears by firelight. They had food, water, and faith, but they also had the creeping truth. This was the end game. Rome didn't want just victory, they wanted spectacle. The kind of message that would echo across provinces. You can run to the mountains, but Rome will build one to reach you. They weren't just fighting Rome, they were fighting the meaning of surrender itself. Morning broke with smoke and thunder. The Roman siege tower reached the wall, the battering rams slammed through stone, and arrows turned the air to fire. When the soldiers stormed the breach, they found something no one expected. Silence. The fires were still warm, the walls scorched black, but nearly everyone was gone. Ancient historian Josephus claimed 960 people took their own lives rather than fall into slavery. Only 2 women and 5 kids survived, hiding in a cistern. Modern archaeology doubts the exact number, but whatever happened up there, it was an ending no empire could script. Masada's storage rooms were still full, the water cisterns still glistened. They weren't starved out. They chose their finish line. For them, dying free beat living chained. Smoke hung in the cold dawn as Roman troops climbed the ramp. They'd built a mountain to reach their enemies, only to find ghosts. Rome won the siege, but the silence, that belonged to Masada. When defeat becomes legend, what truth survives the silence? Centuries later, the story was reborn. Masada shall not fall again. The phrase became sacred in modern Israel. Soldiers swore it by torchlight at the mountain summit. The ruins became a monument, the story a badge of identity. But here's the twist. The only detailed record came from Josephus, a man writing for Rome. He painted the rebels as heroes and fanatics, martyrs and killers all at once. Over time, history blurred into myth. New research shows the siege probably lasted weeks, not years. Few bodies, no proof of a mass suicide. Maybe some fought, maybe some surrendered. Maybe Josephus gave his drama more than detail. Still, myths stick for a reason. They fill the silence facts can't. Masada's story became a mirror for courage, for defiance, for the cost of holding the line. And as you stand up there today, wind in your ears, it's hard not to feel something ancient humming through the stone. The silence of Masada isn't about defeat, it's about questions that never die. What does a mountain remember? It remembers Rome's ramp, a scar carved into its side. It remembers the prayers whispered in the dark. It remembers how power always wants a show, and how sometimes, even in losing, people write the stronger script. The Roman legions thought they were ending a rebellion. Instead, they created a legend that's still alive 2,000 years later. Masada became more than a story, it became a warning. Power built the ramp, pride lit the fires, and silence kept the truth. Today, the amphitheaters are gone, but the idea of spectacle isn't. The mountain's silence still speaks, in every act of control disguised as order, in every voice that refuses to bow. The fortress fell, but its story keeps climbing. And every time we retell it, we're not just remembering history, we're keeping that spark of defiance alive. Masada didn't just fall, it rose into legend. And legends, unlike fortresses, never crumble.